Life doesn't respond to our desires, it responds to our daily agreements. What are you doing every day that's going to prepare you for the next day and what's going to build that foundation that you need to get to the next level of your life, of yourself, of your evolution? What you practice in private, you will be rewarded for in public. So whatever habits you have right now that you're doing when no one's looking will be what comes out in the public. So I want you in 2026 to get your spirit right, get your content consumption healthy, and make sure you have the best relationships, because having the best relationships are really going to empower the other two things as well. Really make 2026 an empowering year, a spiritual year where you're disciplined, you're consistent, and your daily agreements match your epic destiny, matches your purpose that you want to live. 2026 won't be defined by your goals. It will be defined by the discipline you can keep when life doesn't go your way. Spiritual discipline in 2026 is so important for your development, for your evolution, for your empowered self. Because without discipline, you can't build structure. Without discipline, you have nothing to look forward to. Without discipline, there's no self-respect or self-love for your higher self. And look, we all have some type of belief of something, whether it's God, the creator, universe, nature. Guess what? God doesn't reward intensity. God rewards consistency. Most people don't fail because they aren't spiritual. They fail because they are not devoted. Discipline is not punishment. I'll say it again. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is devotion in motion. So in this episode, I want to talk about being devoted, having spiritual discipline with consistency to build structures around your frequency, your business, your life, and everything you want in 2026. Your future doesn't respond to your desires. It responds to your daily agreements. Your future doesn't respond to your desires. It responds to your daily agreements. So let's get into it. I'm Eric Bigger. This is my YouTube channel, and we talk about all things spiritual fitness, self-help, personal development, love, relationships, and just being the best self you can be and living from a higher frequency. Today, I'm just going to really discuss from my perspective, from my experiences, why spiritual discipline in 2026 will bring you the things you need long term. Let's get it clear, right? I think the biggest struggle that I'm seeing in life with many people is that we're living from what we see and not from what we know or what we feel. So if you see a bunch of people living their dreams, traveling, living a high life, driving nice cars, living in nice places, or shining, however, I think that moment of social media has faded and it's a new reality. And the reality requires you to have spiritual discipline, spiritual currency. Because look, you can have the money, you can have the fame, you can have the fortune, you can have the success. But if you feel empty inside, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, it's all about how you feel and who you have around you when things are not going your way. You need to have people in your life that love you for you and not what you can do for them. So spiritual discipline, non-negotiables. What are the things that's going to get you to the next level of yourself, not life, of yourself? So for me, every morning, I make sure I sit in silence for 30 minutes. 4:30 a.m., I wake up. I sit in silence for 30 minutes. After that, I pray. I do breath work for 5 minutes. And then I do a really light meditation. I send my girlfriend a prayer. And I get ready, take my supplements, and I get in the gym. Now, here's the thing. That works for me. That might not work for you. So right now, if you're listening, if you're watching this, I just gave you my morning routine to get me started for the day, which gives me structure for the day. Write down right now, what is your morning routine? Do you pray? Do you meditate? Do you listen to music? Do you work out? And the reason I get up so early is because I want to be able to pour life into myself before I pour life into the world. Usually my first client is at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning. So at 4:30, from 4:30 to 5:30, I'm giving myself reverence. I'm giving myself that spirituality, that spiritual currency, that spiritual discipline to recalibrate, to be in a highest capacity. So I know every day I go out and people see me, whether they know me or not, they're going to feel my presence. They're going to feel my energy, because before I touched social media, got into the car, I'm already poured into my soul to be the best I can be. So it's important in 2026 to have spiritual discipline. I think, for some of us, if you live in a community where it's church based, I think you should go to church every Sunday in 2026. I think you should have a prayer life in 2026. I think you should work out in 2026. And these things should be consistent, because like I said again, life doesn't respond to our desires. It responds to our daily agreements. What are you doing every day that's going to prepare you for the next day, and what's going to build that foundation that you need to get to the next level of your life, of yourself, of your evolution, right? So for me, I know people are looking and waiting for my presence, my energy, my advice, my wisdom. So I got to make sure when these cameras not on, when I'm not on YouTube, when I'm not in a client session helping a client get over something or through something, I got to make sure I'm building that spiritual discipline of daily habits. Not only do I sit in silence for 30 minutes, I pray, I do breath work, I do meditation and work out, I also make sure I read 30 minutes a day. Right now, I'm reading a book called Becoming the Man, and this is about masculinity. So that's going to improve my psyche. It's going to improve who I am, my perspective, my leadership. So I'm always finding things that I can invest in myself that's going to take me to the next level. So these are things that are intangible things that you have control over. We have to stop making life about what we can see and what we can get. Because in 2026, it's not about you having desires. It's not about you getting to a destination. It's about who are you going to become in that process of getting the thing. So I want to expand my business. I want to expand my light in the world. I want to expand my consciousness, my frequency. I want to receive more. So I got to do the work behind closed doors when no one's looking, and be disciplined in that, because whatever you do in the dark will come to the light. There's a famous quote that says, "What you practice in private, you will be rewarded for in public." So whatever habits you have right now that you're doing when no one's looking will be what comes out in the public. So hopefully you're doing the right things. So find whatever your routine is going to be in 2026, this new year. I want you to double down on that and make it a priority. I don't care if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because I know some of you are parents, you have kids, you have a job. It's very intense, could be emotional, could be overwhelming. But here's the thing. I told a client this 3 weeks ago. I said, money follows your light, not your labor. I'm going to say it again. Money follows your light, not your labor. I said, without you, there's no money. So do not make money the priority. You make yourself the priority in your consciousness, in your body, in your mind, in your essence of who you are, and the money will follow. But we've been programmed and conditioned in this world to make money the priority. And then you get the money and you can't even fulfill or feel good about it because you're tired, you're out of shape, you haven't built no real relationships, or you're not building a stronger intimacy with your partner because you're making it all about work. But you got to pour into your vessel. You got to pour into the spirit of you. Spiritual fitness. That's what it's all about. What are you going to do this year, 2026, to make your spirit fit to have spiritual discipline so you can live your dreams out loud? Because there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be challenges, there are going to be changes, but it's all about how you respond. And you respond in a healthy way when you're grounded in your spiritual discipline. So I gave you about 5 things that I do early in the morning, right? 30 minutes work at 4:30, 30 minutes silence, prayer, breath work, meditation, take my supplements, I work out, and I read 30 minutes a day. So that's 6 things, right? In one day that I do that at least 4 days out of the week. I'm consistently doing these things, especially the reading as well. But I'm consistently building my frequency up with the right information, the right people, the right conversations, the right people I'm following and I'm listening to. So that's the other thing. That's one thing, right? That's one layer of it. Let me give you 3 layers. This is the first layer. Morning, 30 minutes, prayer, breath work, meditation, supplements, reading, workout, right? That's the first layer, right? We have control of it. The second layer is social media. Who am I following? What YouTube videos or movies am I watching? Right? What content am I consuming? So the second layer is, what content am I consuming? Is the content I'm consuming making me better, making me a better thinker, a better business person, a better individual? Is it better in my spirit and my knowledge and my wisdom? So content consumption, that's the second layer. You got to be disciplined in your content consumption and make sure you are consuming positive content, healthy content, content that puts you into an empowered state, that's putting you in a high vibration to make you feel good about yourself, to giving you motivation, inspiration, influence for your highest good, right? Number 3 is, what is your relationship life like? Like with your family, your relationship with your family, relationship at work, and your relationship with your partner or potential partners. But more importantly, what is your relationship like with yourself? Got it? So we got the first layer, which is more spiritual, right? The second layer, content consumption. The third layer is relationships, right? We got spiritual, we got social consumption, and we got relationships, social relationships, or relationships in general. And the reason these 3 things are going to be so important for you to be aware and be intentional, to be disciplined, because these 3 layers of spiritual discipline, being disciplined in these 3 layers, is going to empower how you think, is going to empower what you say, and is going to empower what you do. Because everything that comes into your vibration, everything that comes into your vortex, everything that comes into your energetic space has influence over you consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously. That's why they say you are the 5 people you hang around. Because by osmosis, energetically, the more you're around that energy, the more you listen to a song, the more you watch a movie, the more you have negative thinking, the more you around negative people, you're going to become it because you're in the energy of it. It rubs off. It's human nature. So I want you in 2026 to get your spirit right, get your content consumption healthy, and make sure you have the best relationships, because having the best relationships are really going to empower the other 2 things as well. Because if I got a great partner who loves me and support me, I have, open and honest communication with family members, my people on my team, within my work and my business, trust me, we have a really good bond. My life is going to be balanced and I'm going to feel good and I'm going to be good. In 2026, I'm going to be able to thrive and not just survive. Things you can control. Go to church every Sunday or join a group. Work out for sure. I think working out, having a spiritual community, and having good relationships is so important for your mental health, your spiritual health, and your emotional health. So those are 3 bonuses I would say, right? Those 3 bonuses are so important. Like the people you're around each and every day. I just talked about that. Your community, your environment you come home to, where you live at, because where you live at matters, right? And then, are you making yourself a priority? Are you giving yourself self-love? Are you having and practicing forgiveness of yourself, of others? Because the relationship you have with yourself is going to determine all the relationships you have in life. So with that being said, let's really make 2026 an empowering year, a spiritual year where you're disciplined, you're consistent, and your daily agreements match your epic destiny, matches your purpose that you want to live. It matches the desires you talk about, you pray about, you meditate on. Some of you want love and you can have love. Some of you want more money and you can have more money. Some of you want to live in a better environment and you can do that. Some of you want to leave your job, you can do it all. But I need you to practice spiritual discipline this year, 2026, because it's going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. And it's the year of the horse. And 2026 is a personal year 1 for the collective. So it's going to be all about determination, drive, motivated, get things done. But in order to get things done with efficiency, you got to be rooted in something real. And that's going to take discipline spiritually, right? So that's all. That's it. Stay disciplined 2026. And get where you got to go, but do the things when people are not looking. So when people are looking, they can feel and respect who you are. Not because of followers, not because of the car you drive or who you know or what you look like, because of how you feel, how you make people feel in your frequency, how you make people feel when you leave them. You make them feel good because you're getting up early, you're working out, you're praying, you're eating good, you're consuming the right content, you're following the right people, you got the right friends and right people in your life, your relationships with your family members and your co-workers and your partners, business or personal relationships are incredible. Not that they're perfect, they're balanced, they're healthy because you're healthy. And that's the whole point of having spiritual discipline. So stay consistent, be disciplined. 2026 will be your year. I'm out. Peace.